Hey everyone, my name is Alex Bowers and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So I guess all I really know is that this is my new YouTube channel, which I'm going to be calling Past Blast for the time being until I come up with something better. I mean, it's already a name I'm struggling to get my head around, which is great. So what names have I called it so far? I think I've had Blast Past, I've had Plast Bast, I've had Plastercast, whatever. Past Blast, a tongue twister through history. Anyway, I just thought I'd make this first video to kind of just introduce myself, I guess. So I am a writer and researcher by trade. I've had quite a few of my articles published in various magazines in the UK, in North America, but in particular I've got a real fascination for Canadian military history. You might have questions already, but before I go into why a Brit is interested in Canadian wartime stories, I feel like there's something important you should know about me, and that is that I am actually not a qualified historian in any way, shape or form. I have not been to university, and if I'm being completely honest, I actually got a D at history at school. Those of you who are still tuned in, well, first of all, thank you. I think probably one of the most crucial questions to answer right now is why you should be listening to someone who couldn't even get through his history lessons. I guess number one would be that my history lessons were kind of unengaging and uninspiring, and to be honest, I was probably spending too much time enjoying Star Wars to really care about my future. Number two would be, I'd like to think that my lack of qualifications I make up for in experience in the field. That's certainly something I like to tell myself to get to sleep at night. Finally, number three, I suppose, thanks to my years of experience in the field, I've learned that history can be fun, it can be exciting, it can be engaging when done in a fun, engaging and exciting way, which is something I'm going to try and do here. One guarantee I'm going to make to you guys now is that any videos that I make, any in the future whatsoever, they will always be grounded in fact. I will conduct my own research. I will spend a great deal of time ensuring that everything that I say is correct. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that my videos will cover a broad range of topics, but in particular I would love to share with you guys some of the Canadian history stories that I've learned about over the last few years, some of which are just so fascinating and are so woefully underrepresented in the media. Which brings us back to the question, why is a Brit so interested in Canadian history in the first place? I guess the answer to that is pretty simple, and that's the fact that I do know my own history. I mean, I didn't pay attention at school, but I know it now. And I know that Canada have stood by Britain's side on countless occasions, and we don't talk about it enough. I think one of the things that upsets me most in the UK is this prevailing notion that Britain stood alone in between 1940 and 1941, before the Americans came. And I just think that's utter nonsense. I mean, there are technicalities about that statement, but they diminish the individual identities of countries that were there from almost the very beginning. I'm talking about Canada, I'm talking about India, I'm talking Australia, New Zealand. All of these countries were there from almost right at the very beginning. And yet, there's this idea in Britain that we stood alone against Nazi tyranny until the Americans came. The Americans had such an important part to play in the Second World War, but so did Canada, and that's what I'd like to talk about. I've picked Canada in particular because I've got a strong family connection to the country, and not only that, but I love this place so much that my wife and I have actually recently moved from the UK to Antigonish, Nova Scotia in Canada. This seems like a great time to introduce you to my wife Annie.
Hi guys, I'm Annie. I'm a photographer, a nature lover, and I try and grow as much as I can in the garden, and I also have a passion for history. I enjoy early medieval history, the Viking Age and things like that, and you'll probably be seeing and hearing a lot of me as I help Alex make these videos. Quite possibly, mostly behind the camera, laughing at him when he messes up.
Some of you might have even been following our story across the pond. We arrived in February in Nova Scotia, and since being here we've had podcast appearances, we've had radio appearances, we've even been on the television. It's been crazy. We are super happy to be here, literally as we speak, surrounded by the Canadian wilderness. and of course its rich history and heritage. But for now, I guess we'll sign off by saying that our social media handles are in the description below. We'd love you to like and subscribe this video if you liked what we were doing. And we're also contemplating perhaps setting up a Patreon page so you can support our work moving forward in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.